Once upon a time, in the village called Okoyon, there lived a lady named Mambeng. She was known throughout the village for her incredible beauty. Her skin was flawless, her eyes sparkled like stars, and her smile could light up a room. But beneath her beautiful exterior lay a heart that was not kind. Mambeng was disrespectful, selfish, stubborn, wicked, and egoistic. She looked down on the poor people and loved only the rich people. She called the men who wanted to marry her broke men and sent them away, mocking their modest gift and simple ways. Mambeng's arrogance made her many enemies in the village. The older women shook their heads and warned their daughters not to be like her. The men who had once admired her from afar now avoided her, knowing they would never be good enough in her eyes. Yet Mambeng remained proud and unrepentant. She was convinced that her beauty would one day bring her the world she desired. Mambeng's behavior caused great distress in her family. Her father, a humble man, loved her deeply but was heartbroken by her arrogance and disrespect. He often pleaded with her to be kinder and more respectful to everyone, but Mambeng would not listen. One day, after a harsh argument with Mambeng, where she disrespected her father and the suitors he had arranged to meet her, gave the man a heart attack and he collapsed and passed on. This tragic event left Mambeng with her equally heartbroken mother. Her mother's sorrow was deepened by Mambeng's continued bad behavior. Whenever Mambeng hurt her mother, the old woman would cry and sing a sorrowful song. Warning her daughter that one day she would reap what she sowed. Not too long, far away in the village called Tali, there lived a crippled dwarf named Moni. Moni had mysterious powers that no one fully understood. He could make things appear and disappear, change his appearance, and even control the elements to some extent. When he heard about Mambeng and her bad behavior, he decided to teach her a lesson. Moni, the crippled dwarf, decided to embark on a journey to win Mambeng's heart. How will this be possible, knowing the kind of person Mambeng is? Moni spent days preparing for this journey. He gathered the items he would need and used his powers to map out the best route to Okoyon. Though he could use his magic to travel quickly, he decided to walk, using the journey to transform himself step by step. This way, he could certainly craft the illusion that would captivate Mambeng. Moni began his journey to Okoyon, which was many miles away. The road was long and winding, passing through forests, over hills, and across rivers. After the first mile, Moni stood beside a tree in the forest and sang a very beautiful song. Suddenly, he developed very long and strong and healthy legs. His once feeble limbs transformed into those of a robust man capable of easily walking long distances. As he continued, Moni marveled at the change. He felt a new sense of freedom and power with his new legs. He walked confidently, knowing that this was just the first step in his transformation. With each mile, he grew more excited about the plan he had devised. After another mile, Money used his powers again. This time, he gave himself strong arms. His weak, twisted limbs straightened and grew muscles, becoming powerful and capable. He flexed his new arms, feeling the strength coursing through them. With each step, Money was becoming more like the man Mambung desired. He continued, feeling more human with every mile. His newfound strength allowed him to travel faster and more comfortable. Money knew that his journey was far from over, but he was pleased with the progress he was making. After another mile, he used his powers to transform his face into that of a handsome man. His previous scarred features smoothed out, becoming youthful and attractive. His eyes brightened, his hair thickened, and his smile became charming. With his new appearance, Money knew he would catch Mambung's eye. He practiced his new smile and the way he would introduce himself. Money felt a surge of confidence, knowing he was getting closer to his goal. His plan was coming together perfectly. As Money walked further, he conjured up luxurious items, cars, beautiful clothes, nice shoes, and even fancy hats and glasses. He summoned a sleek black car with tinted windows and plush leather seats. He adorned himself in the finest silks and linens, with shoes that shone like polished gems. Money now looked like a very rich man. He practiced driving his new car and admired his reflection in the rear-view mirror. His transformation was complete and he was ready to meet Mambung. He felt excitement and nervousness as he approached Okoyon, wondering how she would react to his new appearance. When Money arrived at Mambung's house, he stepped out of his luxurious car and the entire village took notice. Mambung was thrilled when she saw him. Her eyes widened at the sight of his riches and she immediately wanted to marry him. Mambung called all the villagers to show off her new rich suitor, inviting them to the grand feast to celebrate her good fortune. She felt proud and superior, believing she had finally found the wealthy life she deserved. Money played his part perfectly. He showered Mambung with attention and extravagant gifts, each one more lavish than the last. He bought her jewelry, fine clothes, and even a beautiful house in Okoyon. Mambung's pride swelled and she flaunted her new suitor to the villagers, relishing their envy. The wedding was grand and beautiful. Money spared no expense, making sure everything was luxurious. The ceremony took place in the village square, decorated with flowers and ribbons. Mambung wore a stunning gown made up of the finest silk and Money looked dashing in his tailored suit. The villagers gathered to watch, their eyes filled with admiration and envy. Mambung was the happiest bride, thinking her dreams of wealth had come true. She smiled and waved at the crowd, basking in the attention. Money too played his role convincingly, acting the part of the devoted and wealthy husband. As they exchanged vows, Mambung felt certain that her future would be filled with riches and luxury. After the wedding, Mambung's mother refused to follow Mambung to her husband's house, as she requested, and other family members also stayed back and wished Mambeng a safe journey to her rich husband's house. Her family could only imagine what would happen once Mambeng got to Tali due to her bad character, and they also had their suspicions about the sudden marriage of Moni and Mambeng, yet they kept it to themselves. Mambeng climbed into the convoy of luxurious cars that Moni had conjured. They began their journey back to Tali. Mambeng sitting beside Moni, dreaming of her new rich life. The convoy moved slowly through the village, and Mambeng waved to the villagers, enjoying their envious gazes. The journey was long, but Mambeng didn't mind. She was too busy imagining all the wonderful things she would have in her new home. She chatted excitedly with Moni, asking about the treasures and luxuries that awaited her in Tali. Moni answered her questions patiently, hiding his identity and plans. As they traveled, Moni started to return the things he had acquired. After the first mile, there was a beautiful song coming from the forest, and Moni stopped driving. Mambung wondered why the cars stopped, and Moni urged her to listen to the beautiful song from the forest. Surprisingly, it was the same song Mambung's mother usually sang. Mambung listened and wondered why her mother still followed her with the sorrowful song, but she ignored. Just after the song, one of the cars disappeared. Mambung noticed but thought it was a mistake. She asked Moni about it, but he answered her that everything was fine. Mambung told herself that a single missing car didn't matter when she had so much more waiting for her. She continued to chat with Moni, trying to keep her excitement alive. But a small seed of doubt had been planted in her mind. With each mile, more cars vanished. Moni's handsome face began to change back to its original form. Mambung grew worried, and she realized something was wrong. She looked at Moni and saw his features shifting, becoming less handsome and more familiar. Panic set in as she recognized the face of the crippled dwarf she had heard about. Mambung demanded answers, but Moni remained silent. As the convoy continued, more and more of the luxuries disappeared. The once grand convoy was reduced to a single simple cart, and Mambung's heart sank as she realized the full extent of the deception. By the time they reached Tali, all the luxurious items had disappeared. Moni was back to being a crippled dwarf. Mambung was horrified. She had married Moni thinking he was rich, but now she saw his true form. She felt a mix of anger, fear, and regret, but there was nothing she could do. She could not return to Okoyong. There was no way for her to return to Okoyong. The magical dwarf will not allow her to move an inch. The villagers of Tali, aware of Moni's plan, watched in silence as Mambung's arrogance was stripped away. She had no choice but to accept her fate, bound to the man she had once thought would be her ticket to wealth. Mambung realized that her love for riches had led her to this humiliating situation. It was not just a humiliating situation, it was a scary situation for Mambung. Whenever Mambung cried and regretted her actions, she remembered her mother's sorrowful song. Her mother had always advised her to respect everyone, but she had not listened. Her mother's words echoed in her mind, "What you sow, you will reap." Mambung's mother appeared in her subconscious mind, singing the same song whenever she was sad. Mambung's guilt and sorrow grew Each time she remembered her father's death and her mother's song, Mambeng came to the understanding that true worth and happiness came from inner goodness, humility, and respect for others, rather than superficial appearance of material world. Mambeng's journey from arrogance and greed to humility and understanding teaches us that pride and the pursuit for riches can lead to downfall and regret, while genuine character and treating others with respect bring lasting fulfillment and redemption. Mambeng had to live with the crippled dwarf forever and ever. She decided to become happy and she accepted her fate.